If you weren't keyed into the history of the WWE video games, you might have learned of UK's more recently for their involvement in newer EDF series spin-offs like Iron Reign and World Brothers. Back around the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 eras, though, they had a pretty good assortment of original projects going on beyond their wrestling games. One of their better-known ones on PS1 would be the beloved
Evil Zone.
But more importantly, they're the sons of bitches who gave us motherfucking Sokaigi. Like Sokaigi before it, EOE is a linear story-focused action game, but there's more of a swing at something technical here, closer to Devil May Cry. Not sure I'd say it's a successful swing, but a swing is a swing. And boy, does old Josh Calloway here get swung, pummeled, kicked, stabbed, and thrown around like a goddamn ragdoll.
Give me a break.
The fusion of the human soul with a rare metal has unleashed a devastating weapon. Capable of destroying the world, this weapon has brought mankind to the eve of extinction. Well, that's what the back of the box says anyway. Pretty good bullet points here. I've always wanted to explore 3D environments. The general setup of EOE is basically the same as that Bionic Commando reboot, but it has a lot of fun with it. Josh's girlfriend may have been turned into a transforming wife lightsaber, but since one of her wife saber powers is getting to physically project herself out and speak, she does get to be present. Mostly.
Why don't you come back with us?
Forget it!
Yeah, sorry we can't be part of your plans for world domination. Is now a good time to talk about that retirement plan?
Anyway, I can't exactly call their romance deep, but yeah, they're both dorks who love each other, and that much got me to like them both. It's not a ton, but Eliel gets more than a character like this probably would get on average at the time. And Josh...
I have waited for you. Yes, for days and nights innumerable.
Josh is a being forged in scum, an icon of crust. What are you doing, man? Are you trying to copy Dante here?
Taking over the world, huh? I've heard that before. Ah!
But yeah, to be perfectly honest, there ain't much story in EOE. And not to be cute, little bit of fun, but it's not quite one of the greats in either the God Hand sense or the Sniper 2 sense. And I don't got a lot of praise for the combat either. Both these aspects of EOE, I got enough thoughts to say they're cute. Kinda impressive, trying to punch above their weight. But I like to talk about things in games that made me feel shit. And unfortunately, while the weird Atlantis conspiracy shit in the story was kinda fun, and the combat trying to do weapon switching several years before DMC3 is respectable, I don't feel too much about it. So I'm gonna skip right along to talking about what I do like. That, of course, would be the environments. EOE's environments are legit pretty. Pretty varied, pretty detailed. Aesthetically, EOE has kind of a rounded, simplistic and blobby 2002 core feel. But there's a lot of cute details to its levels, even if, in essence, the levels themselves are mostly big, boxy hallways. Like, peep all these random signs dotted around New York and Chinatown. This is some primo shit, man. These are some fucking min-no-core fake ads. Shit's great. I even like this dumb little MTV parody ad. Like, they really just pulled out whatever they could think of and had fun with it. And while the environments themselves are basic, they've definitely got that, liminal vibe, I guess. Shit's big. Way big. And yet, completely empty. Devoid of life. Besides Josh's super hologram sword wife, and an army of cartoon MIB goons. No civilians, no cops, not even the sound of alarms. It's like a ghost town. Spooky. And yet you can really feel them doing their best to pull all they can out of this one setting. The whole journey from the streets down through the weirdly obtuse and maze-like subway that only ever seems to have trains passing by at the perfect opportunity to slam our boy into a pillar, back up to the streets and up to the rooftops. I'm not sure there's a better city for designing video game levels than New York, honestly. The Big Apple can work for just about anything, whether it's below ground, above ground, or way above ground. A huge subway system creating tons of potential for mysterious, dark underground action. The urban sprawl across the city streets, where a view is always blocked by the towering buildings, until you yourself reach the top of those buildings and gaze down at the streets below, taking care not to fall and go. EOE doesn't quite get to the full scale of things there, but this one little journey it set up made me appreciate how this one location can be used, and is used, in so many different games. Chinatown's less grand in scale, but it's got a bit more elaborate design going on, focusing around this huge hidden fortress that's, 90% death hallway?
You might want to avoid those blades.
It gives you two different points of entry and exit, connecting to this wider main plaza area. Even if that choice doesn't really matter, it's kinda neat to see. The next level tasks you with some sorta MGS-like factory infiltration. If MGS primarily involved thwacking guards over the head with Ivy's sword from Soul Calibur. But for real, this is like the perfect model of 2000s neo-futuristic industrial level. Huge, gray, weirdly clean but not too clean, some fancy-ass looking neon light tubing, and of course these motherfuckers have a laser hallway and a giant underground train tunnel. A video game-ass secret base if I ever saw one.
Get real. Here comes the welcoming party.
After that, you get a much shorter interlude visiting the main bad guy, Agla's ritzy but still characteristically wide and square private blimp, dotted with expensive decorations and furniture, and for some reason a kitchen located at the bottom of a ramp in a random corner, which must be absolute hell for the catering staff. From here, our boy takes a big leap down into the Guyana highlands. Not exactly the most fun level to play, but boy does it have some goddamn vibes. Nice, quiet, nature-y. A pleasant green wide open space full of waterfalls and nature to help you take a load off from all the big money you just saw blow itself to hell. A fun mix of clearly video game-y, carved out, singular forward path that still does a good job leaving the impression of a wider world beyond your adventure. You didn't think we were moving on just yet, did you? We still have one more thing in the Guyana Highlands to talk about. The lizard. The Mayan ruins offer the game's most distinct mix of fun, Tomb Raider-ish theming and complete fucking jank.
Be careful. Don't get burned.
There's stuff that I fuck with about this level aesthetically, but I can't lie. This is where you can start to tell the game is running out of time a bit. They hit you with the classic elemental puzzle setup, but they're not so much puzzles as much as you using your EOE elemental attacks on statues. It is all for the sake, though, of acquiring Big Skull, so I can't say it's a waste of time. Some of these chambers themselves do look pretty cool, honestly. The final level, taking place in this big skyscraper, is pretty funny looking. Massive, spacious hallways, winding staircases, and lots of variation in lighting and decoration to try and set every area here apart. If the blimp was just a fraction of the big money being displayed, this is maximum big money. Huge money. However, it does have one thing I must give special mention to. Look at this big pool. To borrow someone else's words, I've never before seen such a mysterious pool. The complete lack of detail, the hard edges, the lack of an amenity as basic as an attached shower or changing room. Just a big pool, a big diving board, and a ton of lounge chairs. This pool is, to me, the Eve of Extinction aesthetic. This is the Extinction pool. I also call it that because anyone other than Josh who falls in immediately evaporates. Unfortunately, this level is also the eve of my enmity for Eve of Extinction. I got all this whole way, all the way here, final boss time. I was so hyped up to finish the game and see what was waiting at the end. Got all the way to this dramatic little bitch's final phase. And then I died. No problem, right? No lives in this game. You got infinite continues. Well, I also had to go deal with some shit for a couple minutes around here, so I figured I'd just let it sit on the continue screen. There's no timer after all. It should be perfectly fine to do, right? Oh. So, EOE doesn't have any autosaves, and it doesn't have a mission select. So I couldn't just download a 100% save and load into the final level from there. I just lost all my progress. That's it. That's where it ends. That's my EOE journey, everyone.
What? Damn.